What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Level With You show. My name is Wiley Olmsted, and this week I am joined by the Taxicab Batman himself, Kenny Castro.
Hi, it's Gotham.
And down there, doing what he does, we got Tyler Hadley, the Phantom producer.
Not so Phantom lately, huh? Gonna have to come up with a new name.
Yeah, he hasn't been Phantom in like 6 months.
Pretty true. You're still Phantom in my heart. I don't know. You love the personas, but yeah, the double entendre is not quite what it used to be.
Anthony's coming.
Anthony's coming. All right. And he will be joining us momentarily. So he'll be able to tell us about Monster Hunter Rise as well as Kenny. They've been into that. I finished up Miles Morales. Octopath Traveler came to Game Pass. So we're going to be getting into that a little bit. Tyler has already run through the new co-op joint, It Takes Two. But before we get into that, we like to let you know that you can get this show on podcast services if you're watching on video. And you can join our Discord. You can find out how to do so in the link below or in the description below in the YouTube video. And yeah, if you could give us a like or a subscribe, we'd really appreciate it. And if you're a longtime listener of the show, thank you. What's up? And we appreciate you. All right. So before we get into the games, why don't we talk about, I don't know, first episode of My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Season 5 is here.
It's
Sort of a filler one.
It's completely. It's kind of almost, if I remember correctly,
They're
it's
reacquainting you.
Yeah, how they open every season. But the tricky part is, if you look back on most openers, right, when they do this whole reacquainting you with the whole class 1A, right, they show off everybody's powers. But progressively, if you watch through every season that they do this, you see the growth in their control of their abilities. So they do a little more. They can do. They're a little more creative with their power. Still the same power, but you see their growth in the power from each first episode. If you compare them back to back to back, that even something as simple as is it Aoyama, the one with the shining beam from the belly button?
Mm-hmm.
So in this episode, you see him and he uses his power, and instead of just one laser beam, it's multiple shots get shot out from his belly button.
Okay.
So he has a growth in his power, a growth in his control and creativity. So that's something that we can start seeing in most of these reintroductions and getting reacquainted with them.
Yeah, it's you wonder, do they really need to do this again? Like, tell me that Froggy's power is frog? I don't know. But it was fun getting to see everybody, and it does help as somebody that, I haven't watched it in several months, so I'd forgotten a few names here and there, and it was useful. It was, you got the little bit of foreshadowing at the end of the episode about where the season might be going. You got the recap of the final fight from season 4, which gave me goosebumps all over again.
Honestly, that fight made me tear up. I definitely eyes watered. I was happy for that character development for Endeavor, for everybody that watched it. Even the moment where Todoroki was like, it's always sends chills through my body when Todoroki's in that moment where they cut to him in Endeavor's fight, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm watching."
Yeah, the show's it's cheesy in all the right ways. It makes you love superheroes and saving people with a smile on your face. Wholesome.
Fun fact, Wiley, is that in the manga, My Hero Academia is set in the same universe that Batman and Superman exist.
What?
In the same universe?
Yes, in the same universe that they would exist, but because of copyright and all that stuff, that little tidbit that they put into the comics, that are alluding that they did in the comics, they couldn't allude to it in the show.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So what rank is Superman? Did they say?
No.
Superhero's only like number 7 in our universe. Batman's like 148.
Right.
Well, yeah,
the gadget hero Batman.
It's good to have that. I know that Attack on Titan now is done. I still have 2 more to watch, and then they
until 2022. Yeah,
exactly. They announced right afterwards, like, yeah, we're coming back with more like Why didn't they just do that and have everybody worrying of like, how are they going to tie all these loose ends? It's impossible.
Honestly, I think when they made the season to order, right? They didn't realize until they started developing it that they just weren't going to be able to wrap it up in that amount of episodes. If they wanted to do it correctly, and then they were just like, you know what, we'll just do it. We'll just do what we can and let the studio decide whether or not to extend it, you know. And with all these perfect ratings and reviews and critics, Rotten Tomato scores, there was no way not to extend it for the second part of this final season.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a shame to end it without a real conclusion, which where like it seems where I'm at, things are just gearing up. Like there's a lot of story left to be told. So I'm glad that it didn't sort of have a
Black Clover moment,
a cliffhanger, or some sort of like a Sopranos like ending. You know.
Yeah. Speaking of Black Clover, I think their final episode is going to be tomorrow or today. I think it aired last night or today.
Yep, it is. And then the movie.
Yep.
Okay, so final episode of the series, not just the season.
Well, yeah, they've caught up with the manga at this point.
The hiatus, because in the manga it's ramping up pretty hardcore. So I don't think it's the series gonna end. I think they're just gonna let the manga build out the story a bit before they start
Game of Thrones it and just start making it up.
Yeah, no. I think they would get lynched and butchered for that if they try that.
Yeah.
I think it was a series finale of Jujutsu Kaisen 2 was last week.
Season or series?
Season.
Okay.
They're definitely.
And we also got the announcement and I think first images of the new My Hero Academia movie that's coming out this summer. We got a whole new costume for Deku, looking a lot more dope.
I gotta watch the first two.
Oh yeah. It's definitely good to watch the first two. First one has such an amazing last fight scene, right? Between All Might and Deku taking on one boss. That's one boss there. And then the second one, the creator of the anime and manga, right, actually mentioned that when he was thinking about how to try and top that first fight from the first movie, he had to tap into for this fight, for the second movie's fight, into something he was hoping to save to conclude the manga and the series on. So
now he's like, what am I gonna do?
So he took that. So then he's like, yeah. So he did it with the thought that he already figured out how he would do the ending. So he already had his backup plan.
Gotcha.
What's up, Crisis? How's it going?
What's up? Thanks for tuning in. Did you guys hear that George R.R. Martin signed a 5-year deal with HBO to like produce stuff?
He hasn't even finished the story on what's it called, on the game. He's already producing other stuff.
Oh yeah, we still have not heard anything about Elden Ring. I kind of forgot we had that leaked footage. You thought for sure we would have seen by now, like the official release. Maybe they were mad at the leaker and were like, yeah, no, we're not even showing it. I don't know. But certainly looking forward to that and hoping that one day Winds of Winter comes out, although I'm a little doubtful.
At this point in time, he's just not going to finish it.
Yeah, I mean,
he's definitely sopranoing it. Jon Snow walked into an Italian restaurant, and a couple men started walking in from the north, from the watch, and it cuts to black.
That's the black. Journey's playing.
Yep.
Literally does the same ending.
Same ending. They're like, I actually would have rather that ending than what the ending we got.
Yeah. Maybe so.
When did John make it to an Italian restaurant? We didn't even know Italian restaurants were a thing.
They had a pizza.
Imagine pizza in Game of Thrones would blow their minds.
Oh yeah,
like they could make. I bet they have pizza on Karth. See that. All right, so we do got some games to get into. Why don't we start off with the most new and relevant to today's gamers sphere? It Takes Two. Tyler, you already completed it.
It's a good
follow-up to A Way Out and Brothers. Same guy. He's kind of an eccentric. Yeah, what's his name? Joseph Ferris.
Is that his name? Yeah. Yeah, and I think like he definitely comes through with the character that you see in all of the ads and trailers, the book of love, Dr. Hakim. He's like this super eccentric book who's trying to get this couple to find their lost passion in their marriage and rebuild their relationship. He's always like, you have to use collaboration. He's like shaking his book hips, things like that.
Does he voice him?
I can't remember. He might. I don't know.
Okay.
But he's always got like these like one-liners. He's like, you have to find your passion. Like go with the flow. Find your sweetness.
Yeah, so he comes across, and what's the gameplay like? I mean, I know it's 2 people all the time, and there's really not an option for a single player. You can matchmake with somebody. So you played the whole thing with Caitlin, right?
Yeah, I played the whole thing with Caitlin, because it is required to play with another person. Yeah, I'm trying to fix Wiley's camera because Anthony just joined now.
Yeah, I knew this would be a thing. I knew this would be a thing.
But yeah, I mean the gameplay is actually like really creative because it changes like what you're doing in every single level. So in one level, nice. So
hey, what's up?
So in one level you're oh shit, I'm messing things up. I'm getting distracted.
You want us to come back to you, Tyler?
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad.
Okay, no worries.
We will put a pause on It Takes Two for a bit.
We'll come right back to it. So why don't Kenny and I talk a little bit about Octopath Traveler, the game that surprise dropped on Xbox and PC and cloud Game Pass, and was originally only on the Nintendo Switch, still a $60 game unless you found it on sale, just like all Switch exclusives. So I was holding out. It's something that I totally probably would have picked up if it ever went on sale for $20 or something like that. But so it was a very nice surprise to see it just appear out of nowhere on Game Pass. Visual style, I would say, is somewhere, it's very old school. It looks a little bit PS1, a little bit Super Nintendo, a little bit Game Boy Advance. Like it's kind of got
that background, just the art style that they use for this game is beautiful. I don't know how you feel like it. The backgrounds being so much more popping in color and visuals than your character. I'm in love with it because of that aspect.
For sure. I think it's definitely a very pretty game. I think that the art style and the menus is really nice when you're like looking at the character designs, and just overall it's got a really nice look to it. And if you're fond of old JRPGs, you're going to be right at home with the game structure. I mean, it does have the unique thing. So you start the game out and you choose one of 8 protagonists. You can pick anywhere on the map. They'll all start at level 1. And as you move throughout the story, you're slowly building up your party, playing through the chapter 1 of each character's story before that they're decide to, party up with you. And it's kind of neat how it does that. I mean, like, I wonder how difficult it was to like level scale differently based on your choices right off the bat. Doesn't it sort of seem like there's some voodoo happening behind the scenes that we don't really fully get? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
For what it is that, it definitely threw me off a bit when I was like, wait a second, why am I playing their opening? Then I was like, oh, wait a second, is this their way to kind of introduce us into the character, their abilities, and kind of some backstory to them before they join your party? And I'm like, okay, I'm with it. I'm cool with this. If I got to go through every 8 different one of these as they join me, or, and things like that, I was like, okay, I can see it, because at least it gives me, just the experimentation. Like, okay, this is what their action, like their world action is, right? Whether or not it's the thief, the merchant, the warrior who challenges people, each one has something specific
that they can use on any character in the game, which is pretty neat. So like I started off with the apothecary, and his thing is he's just a very nice guy, and once you talk to people, you can get better prices at the inn or at shops, or a special item will appear somewhere in the area. And then I got the thief, and I could literally steal from anybody. Um, so that's been a fun thing to sort of experiment with it. And Anthony, what I sort of meant was that, Kenny started the game off with a warrior. I started off with the apothecary, and our paths are now going to be completely different because you're not able to fast travel anywhere until you've been to a certain place. So he's starting the game on the other side of the map. So he's going to, like, his second, third, and fourth party members will also be different than my second, third, and fourth, in all likelihood, unless we decide to go somewhere that doesn't make sense from a level perspective.
That
So
sounds pretty sweet, though. That's definitely reminiscent of old JRPGs that are, like the old Final Fantasies, that you can just kind of go wherever on the world map if you want, certain ones, and then you'll wander into an area where you're going to meet an enemy that's like level 70 and you're like level 5.
yeah, definitely has a little bit of that. It makes it easy to be on the right path because it does have like suggested levels on the over the map and everything.
That makes it handy. That's nice.
And right before, like, as you hover in the entrance to go into a new area, it tells you like world danger level.
Right.
On the bottom.
Handy. Yeah, like I got to one the other day that was 25, and I was like, nope, I guess I'm coming back here later.
Yeah, I was walking up to one trying to find the path to go to get my second character, and I was like, oh, maybe it's this way. World danger level 15. Nope, it's not.
Nope. Goodbye.
I think it's a little bit lacking so far with the story because, and it is part of because you are jumping around with these characters and you are sort of playing their chapter ones, which sort of can be jarring, just completely switching setting and character. Like it feels a little weird when you're in the midst of your story as the apothecary who's finally leaving town to set out and do good for the world, and then you're right in the middle of a thief getting out of jail and just a whole nother bunch of bells and whistles, and then it just feels inorganic that they would decide to team up. Like there hasn't been much interpersonal talking, so it sort of just feels like several different story. Yeah, it does. Flat might be a little too harsh, but it's. I'm looking
Forced
forward
is what I should say, probably.
Sure. Yes. I'm looking forward to when I have all 8 characters and the real plot starts. I'll say that. Because
sure.
right now I'm enjoying well, let's talk about the battle system now. Kenny, you said you're pretty into it.
Yeah, big time.
I think it's really nicely. It's easy to understand, even though I missed something pretty big that we talked about before the show, that you can really boost up your attack power by holding on to what are called boost points.
Ooh.
Every time you do an action without boosting, you gain a boost point. So the following turn or the following turn after that, if you really want to boost it up, you can have a much more powerful attack, which ends up being worth the give and take most of the time. So you want to keep that boost meter going up, getting out some pretty big damage just for being patient. And turn-based, it's got your usual healing and potions. There's a shitload of healing that you need to do. Kenny, maybe I'm like twice as far as you, so you haven't seen some of the stuff I've seen, but
No, yeah, you're definitely you got 4 characters. Even though we have this almost, because of course when it comes to RPGs, I do a lot of grinding. We almost have the same amount of gameplay time. You're much further than me, but then again, when I hit my second character, I was at a much higher level than you were.
That's like me and Tyler playing Dragon Quest.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what's it called? But that boosting, and like as I was telling you, my reference to it is when I go full boost, the max boost, the Super Saiyan Blue, as I call it, because your character starts giving off this blue aura, like he went Super Saiyan Blue. I think I once I figured that out, my strategy started just being able to the vulnerability, breaking the armor down, so that then they would be stunned for a turn, so that allowed me an extra hit before then it came around, and I had finally I could go boost ×4, and right then and there I was finishing people, so I was also getting extra on the battle results page, because I would get like most of the time untouched, so you get an extra of that top row, which I forgot, was that money on the top row? I think it's money, XP, and like the skill point. So yeah, for money you'd get extra money for not being touched in battle. You'd get an extra XP point, experience point for breaking their armor. And then you'd get by breaking their armor, by attacking their vulnerability. And then, you get the JP points, which are the skill points, which which is very interesting, because
Like
the amount of skill points that you need to learn a new skill keeps increasing after every skill you gain
exponentially. So you really have to be careful.
And you really got to think about your choices. And then after you get certain battle skills, you then automatically unlock support skills.
And right, yeah, I think that as far as a no nonsense JRPG battle system with a couple neat mechanics, it's really solid so far. And
yeah,
I had a boss fight which took like 20-25 minutes, and I didn't know about that Super
would have
Saiyan
been 15 minutes if you would have gone Super Saiyan Blue.
And I was surprised at how much more difficult it was than the regular encounters. I think I went through like 12 healing grapes. I had to use my healing move with my apothecary character like 15 times.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, this is this got a little hairy. There was several times where I was like, yeah, I might die here, but I still have yet to die. I think 6 hours in now, and I'm sticking with it. It's not my number one most played game of the week. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. But why don't we hop back to Tyler now that everything is back and where it should be as far as
I can work in order.
Let's hit the rewind, right?
The rewind.
All right. It takes two.
It takes two. Take two. Action.
Got it.
But it takes one Anthony to fuck it up.
All right. So the main gist of the game is that it's a co-op game. It's required to be played co-op. And I think what I was talking about was the gameplay mechanics in the game change periodically. You first get put into the game and you're trying to reach the daughter because they're trying to get her attention. And at the first I don't know, like 4 or 5 levels actually go pretty quickly. But even in those first 4 and 5 levels, they introduce a brand new mechanic. They'll just like take away a mechanic and they'll give you a new one. You start off with pretty much you can run, you can dash, you can jump, use triangle to do like certain actions, to like grab onto a lever together, or like use a rope to like swing and things like that. But then in certain levels they'll give you like a special item that like gives each character a unique like ability. In one of the levels you're able to I'm trying to think of what some of the earlier levels were. Gosh, I'm having such a hard time remembering now. But in one of the levels,
so is it like a platformer or an action?
It's definitely more of a platform. It's got action in it, but it's more of a platformer, I would say, because all the bosses that you face, you end up using whatever new mechanic is introduced to you in that level. Like one of the levels, you're inside of a tree, and like you meet these squirrels, and they give you like these 2 different guns. One character has a gun that shoots like sap, and the other character has a gun that shoots matches. And if you shoot the sap on things first, and then the other character shoots a match at it, it like blows up. So there's tons of different things that like you have to. They're actually like it's so funny that you say it's a disturbing game because there are some parts in this game where it gets so dark, and then there's other parts where it's just like, oh my god, like everybody's in love and whatever.
I want to love. I want to horny. Are they get horny for each other as puppets?
Mhm.
What do they do? Is that like the whole?
Yeah, they're trying to refine their love, kind of against their will, because pretty much this book, the Book of Love character, Dr. Hakim, is pretty much just keeps on popping up like in their way of like to their goal, and he's like, oh well, now you have to do this, and now you have to do this, and pretty much just
They're
kind of
like
like
on the way to getting a divorce, right?
right. The whole premise of this
Don't
is
spoil what happens.
yeah, the whole premise is that they're trying to get or that they want to get a divorce. The daughter gets all sad and upset. She cries over this book of love that she found at school, I guess. And then that transforms them into these little puppets.
Huh. Well, it's certainly getting better word of mouth and review scores than A Way Out did, which was somewhere in the 70s. This one's sitting at an 89 on Metacritic, and it's an excellent pickup for you in our Fantasy Critic draft. Probably put you right near the top.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend. I mean, you can play it with anybody, but I think it would be better played. I mean, like with a significant other. I mean, it's a little like it is a little cutesy. At for most of the game. So
Didn't make you want to break up.
That's not bad.
no, like would it be a good game for like you and me, Wiley, to play? Like
Oh, yeah,
maybe,
perfect.
but it might be kind of like a little bit like more awkward compared to like me playing it with my girlfriend.
Well, I think we could get through it, but
Yeah, if you guys are close enough. You can just, I mean, you just saw me and Wiley give it a little peck. You just go, it's okay.
Cool. So I will probably play it this week. I was gonna play it on Sunday afternoon. I had it installed. I read somewhere that you could use a PS5 controller and a PS4 controller for some games. Apparently, that's not the case. It said you cannot use this controller. Tyler says
Oh.
it's an easy fix to switch it to the PS4 version. I will give that a try, and you'll hear my thoughts next week.
I was also gonna say, Wiley, I did see that on Target and Enfield had PS5 controllers in stock. So in case you actually wanted to pick up a second DualSense.
I didn't really think they were hard to come by. I've seen them in stores, at Walmart and things like that when I've been at Walmart and places like that. But it's just I don't have the need for it yet, but I guess I do. It's $70. Gotta shill it out. Just like I need a new Joy-Con. I'm thinking about getting that Fortnite edition. What do you think?
Ooh. Oh wait, you need a new one like for multiplayer, or is it you getting the drift?
A little bit of drift, a little bit of just when I'm playing Ring Fit, which I'm still doing. One of them will just turn off sometimes.
Ugh.
So I got Wario 64. He just said that Amazon just put up the pre-order for the blue and yellow Fortnite Joy-Cons, and I was like, okay, those will probably shut up, Kane. They're gonna be valuable one day.
Speaking of Fortnite, I saw some advertisements for this today, and I thought of Wiley immediately. I was like, Wiley's the Fortnite guy. He can explain what is this new thing that's being advertised. It's like Fortnite, banana goes boom or something like that. It's like Primal. That's what it is.
Oh, well,
yeah, that's a new season.
It's Primal, which I haven't really played more than a couple of hours of it. Seems like there's a big shakeup as far as how the weapons go. There's primal weapons and there's like ramshack weapons, which suck, which you kind of need to build up with other materials you find in the map. That's really all I know about it. I know Lara Croft is in it.
Nope. They're getting all the people now. They had the Street Fighter one with the really good Chun-Li model and the Ryu.
Yeah, it's they're gonna run out soon. I don't know. They're gonna start going real deep cuts. Holy moly! They got the green and pink ones on sale for $69.
Ooh, look at that price. That's a Splatoon one. You should get that.
Not till April 23rd, but
you should get that.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I could give a thumbs up to that one.
Or if you like Fortnite, get it. Who cares? It's your system. It's whatever you're gonna like more.
Yep. I mean, it's
Nah,
$10
Fortnite.
less for the pink and neon green. I do like the colors of the blue and yellow more.
Blue and yellow are nice. Pink and green are also nice. So if you get it, then we can be you can get into character when we play Splatoon together finally.
You know what I just realized about those? They don't come with the little thing that you make it into a real controller, do they?
No, it's
No.
stupid. They have
They
those are,
totally should.
yeah,
Oh,
those are separate. It's bullshit. There's no point for them not. It's just more money.
more money.
Yeah,
So those are like
so
what, 20,
ridiculous.
30
It's just like a little
Yeah,
plastic piece.
it yeah, it's and so speaking of that too, this is so bad with the Joy-Cons and everything. Did you know Gaming, the YouTube channel, just put out a video today, I think, like early today, about Nintendo Joy-Con just being not working, and there's like a couple lawsuits, I guess, against Nintendo right now over that.
Well, I hope they get what's coming to them.
Yeah, they should make working product.
Well, now that Anthony is here and Kenny is still here, you can tell me about this Monster Hunter Rise, the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that old thing, that little thing there.
Yeah. So
Hell yeah. Well, where do you want me to start?
I want you to start telling me how it differs from Monster Hunter World and how it's the same and how you're enjoying it.
It's been really good so far. It's one big difference is when you start off, you get to, and also a similarity. You start off, you customize your character like you did in World. You customize your little cat guy, but you get a Palamute as well, which is your other buddy. They're called buddies in this. The cat Palicos and the Palamutes, and they're like little dogs. They're like, well, not little. They're like big dogs, and you can customize your first one. You get you. They have this whole little side area in the hub world, the hunting village you start in. That is called the buddy area, where you can hire more like different ones that you can send out between quests that really help you out. They don't really put a big emphasis on it, but it's really handy if you're playing the game, because you go out, you go do your quest, but at the same time, if you have your little buddies going out and like getting materials and other stuff for you, it just kind of like helps compound and get you more resources. So that was like a big difference. But I thought that was really cool. You could ride your little dog if you hold A on the map in the village or out in hunts, and you just go so much faster. You don't use stamina. There's no stamina.
That's really neat. I heard that on another podcast.
And you can boost. There's a little speed boost to it when you hold the left trigger, ZR, whatever LSR.
Really?
Like it, yeah. You lean to the left of it, and then you boost forward. Like it kind of shoots you forward. Yeah.
I'll have to try that out. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
So, is this game a little bit more accessible than World, or
Yes,
you think so?
I think they do a really good job. There's tutorials in this, like they'll pop up. It's not like super in depth, but whenever you encounter a new mechanic, it'll pop up. It gives you like a 1 to like 4 page, depending on what it is, little description of it, kind of what it deals with. But they're getting better as it goes. Like starting from as a Monster Hunter veteran who started on the PSP, technically the PlayStation 2, but the game that just didn't tell you anything. Like now it's so much more accessible. They're really kind of trying to help you lean into more things, and there's tons of guides online already, which is great. And the game's only been out like, I don't know, Friday, since when it launched on Friday, and not even a week.
So, Kenny, you maybe haven't played as much as Anthony, and what was your experience with World? Did you play it a lot, a little, not at all?
I played a decent amount. I played a good chunk, and then I restarted over with the characters when we were trying to play it on the PlayStation, because I had originally played on the Xbox. So I had a decent
for Xbox and PlayStation.
No, I mean World.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I have my experience with World, but with Rise, I got two missions in with Studio 149 with the multiplayer missions, and they carry, like I was telling the guys, they carried me through it. I was really getting one-shotted by the barrel, like when
you gotta grind, man.
I have no gear. I was doing one damage.
I'll run you through it. I'll help you.
I was doing one damage every single time. At one point in time, I even stopped. I was like, I don't want to get one-shotted again, so I was throwing my kunai, and the kunai was doing more damage than I was actually doing.
That's wild.
Wow.
You eat your bunny dango that
you were doing a mission you had no business doing, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I was like, they were like, Kenny, you sure? And I'm like, get me in there.
Get me in there. I want to do Hunter Rank 6. It's fine. I just started the game.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy that they even, because that was one thing with Monster Hunter World is like when you were a lower rank, like it wouldn't even let you into
Yeah,
other
go
people's
in.
quests until you were like at a correct level.
Yeah, at a certain rank. But the cool thing is, you don't have to worry about grinding. As a little tip, I just found this out. You don't have to worry about grinding hunter rank in the multiplayer hub quests if you just do single player story mode. If you beat, I think it's like if you beat the 4-star quests, either beat all 4-star or whatever many single player quests, the pretty much the first half, then you get automatically boosted to Hunter Ranker 3. So you don't have to like grind
Nice.
and hub.
So does it have the same set of weapons that the previous game had, or some like
Yes.
what 12?
Yeah,
choose
there's a
from?
lot.
And they've all got their own move sets, of course.
Yep.
They play very
Their own
dramatically
upgrades
different.
and all that good stuff.
Yep, they're
So
all
what are you guys maining?
That's I'm split right now. I've been I do greatsword. Greatsword's my go-to. So I love greatsword, but I've been trying to branch out from that. So with this one, I've been doing longsword and charge blade.
I've
Nice.
actually, what's it called? I was running around with the double daggers for a little
Yeah,
bit.
nice.
Double daggers. Those are my jam in World, which I did play and got through the story and then moved on because I just wanted to sort of wrap that up and add it to my list of completed games. But
It's making me miss my insect glaive.
Yeah,
right, that was fun too.
those
And
are
I shared
sick.
this game, and that's the one where you could really jump around and
Just
the
like super
mobility
mobile,
really
yeah.
increased. Yeah, and
You've got
so
one
I've heard,
in this too. This is pretty mobile as well. You have I forget in World did they have the wire bug, Tyler?
no, that's what I was gonna
No.
say. That's what I've heard. That sounds really neat. Like it,
Mm.
Yeah.
you can explain how that works.
So it's basically you pull, I think it's what is it, Kenny? It's LZ, and you have that little target
Yeah.
reticle that comes up, and you
Mhm.
have you start off with two little wire bug charges, and you another really cool thing on the topic of getting this is you can run around the map and whatever hunting maps you're on, you can pick up a third wire bug, which will add temporarily for a certain amount of time another wire bug to move. But you also get perma buffs, which is a brand new thing. So
Yep.
there'll be these little like bird, like sparrow, almost hummingbird animals around the
Yeah.
map that you can just run into, and they'll boost your max stats. So they'll
Yeah,
boost
it'll be like
your
defense
health,
stuff,
yep,
you know?
attack, stamina,
Stamina. It'll
HP.
be, and it'll tell you by how much. It'll be like +3 or +1, you know?
You see the
Yeah.
little fishes too. I was so surprised because those little
Yeah.
things. I thought they were gonna do damage to me, but these little fish in the water, they just like popped into me and it was like pew pew pew. They just give you all these buffs.
Yeah, honestly, I felt like even the item collection was very easy because I'd jump on my dog and start running around, and I'd just
The
be
map
almost at
tells you.
and
That's a
I'd be
new one.
almost at full speed, just running by it and pressing A and not even stopping from running, and it'll
Yep.
pick it up.
That's so handy. I love that. It's amazing.
The only time I think it stops you, right, is with the unique items, right?
Unique items or mining.
Yes.
And actually, the maps tell you now where your resources are, which is incredible. It's super handy, and you can
Oh, wow.
fast travel. I don't know if you could do it in World, but you can fast travel if you have 2 different camps in your map.
Yeah,
Nice.
you could do that in World too. You could just travel to a camp.
Did you find any hidden notes yet, Kenny?
No, I have not.
I was looking for I forget what I was doing. I think I was trying to find the thing to get this extra submarine in the buddy park, and I wound up at like the Shrine Ruins, and there's this one part kind of like to the left of the map where there's just this like giant tall tower, and you can kind of see it. It's like a shrine at the top, but there's like a bunch of rocks. There's no real clear path to get to it. So I like shot myself up there somehow, and I was like looking at the shrine. I was like, oh, this is really cool. I was like, this is a neat little detail they have, and I went over to the right, and there's just a sword in the ground with like a note, and you could like click on it. So I guess there's like 6 different hidden like little I forget what they call them, but it's like 6 different notes you can find that you can give to the merchant guy that give you like some background.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of hidden notes, and this is totally out of left field, but I'm wondering if Tyler, when you played Astrobot, did you find the 2 little hidden areas in the jungle level with all the lyrics to GPU on the wall?
Maybe. I feel like it was
Maybe.
like
I
such
just
a long
thought it
time
was
ago.
such a cool hidden thing. Like, and that song is so good.
Oh yeah, I do remember finding that. It was like underneath like a waterfall or something like that, or I don't know.
Probably something like that. So back to Monster Hunter Rise. Let's talk about how it's performing on the Switch, how it looks, and
Awesome.
how it
Yeah.
compares.
The load times are for a Switch game absolutely amazing. Like load times are almost instantaneous. I was talking to my buddy Ryan I was playing with yesterday online, and like
Yeah,
loading
I
is just
die and
crazy.
respawn like that, you
Mhm.
know?
You go from areas, everything loads in. You can tell like the tricks that they do it are great, but like I'm no game designer, but I can tell certain things just from picking up on it and overhearing is that certain things are rendered. Like if you see like something from a cliff over there, like one of the little smaller monsters that's just like this little pterodactyl thing, it's rendered in a way where it's just like it's like going at 2 frames a second, but I mean when
Yeah.
you get close to it, it renders in. But I mean, it's the little tricks that I thought were cool to pick up on. Be like, oh, that's how they got everything so quick and you can load in so fast.
That was part of my precociousness about this game was that it's the Switch not as powerful even as the PS4 and the Xbox One. So going from world to a subpar look, like a lesser looking game would be sort of jarring, but that's not what I'm hearing from anybody.
The looks, I mean, in a way, there's certain things like the shading effects are a little iffy. At certain things, like I just got this armor, the Kazoo hood, which it's just this white hood, and it like I thought you would just see your character's face, but it kind of like shades your top part of your face out to make it kind of look cooler and mysterious. But the way that like the shading is a little odd, just
Okay.
because of the way it's rendered. But it's not bad. I mean, I really haven't picked up on anything too crazy. I'll take the load times being quicker over the little bit of refinement in the graphics with World because this loads so much
Yeah.
faster than
Weird. Well, it's been missing from. Well, I guess there was one other Monster Hunter game, but that was like a port, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I think it was a port. Was it to the Switch too? I think it was.
There was Generations. something like that.
Generations. Yeah, that was a 3DS. I think
Gotcha.
port to
So
the
glad that
Switch.
this one is getting really positive word of mouth. I'm tempted to pick it up.
Do it. I love these. Are like I will run you guys through. Like I love this series. Like I love playing these.
Okay, cool.
You know how I am. If I get into it, I'm gonna start grinding, and that's gonna be my life for like a week or two.
Yeah.
Quest, baby, come on, hop on.
Well, I want to tell everybody that Miles Morales for PS5 is probably the best superhero game ever.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's taken that
Ooh.
mantle for me.
I'm
Second half of the
telling.
game, I just think the combat is unreal. How cool everything looks.
Yeah.
And the electric powers mixed with the invisibility, mixed with all the things that you unlock. The story goes some interesting places. I love the characters, especially your friend Genki and your uncle Aaron, and your sort of the protagonist, who is, or not the protagonist, the antagonist of the game, who's sort of it's a spoiler to say who it is, but it was just so good. The ending, I was like jaw on the floor, like holy crap, this is so epic. This is exactly what I wanted out of this game. So I know I was pretty much raving about it last week, but I had to put a pin in it. So
Yeah, that's about the same as I've read and I've heard from so many different people. Everybody raves about the game.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. I would have been more surprised if you said anything less.
Right. Yeah.
What blew my mind is that he has electric powers. I know that shouldn't be like the big thing at first, but it's crazy.
I didn't
I
know
was
he
like, when did he have? I was like, when did he get this? When does Spider-Man have electric stuff? It's sweet.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he kicked Pete's ass with some more practice. Only complaint, speaking of Pete, they should not have changed his face from the original game. He looks the same age as Miles. He's supposed to be 8 years older than him. Why'd you do it? I don't get
Why'd they do
Yeah.
it. Okay, so Kenny, why don't you loop us around to Loop Hero?
Woo.
So
Maybe like that, yeah.
yeah, nice. So Loop Hero, quick update. I rolled credits.
What?
Nice.
Sweet.
I did tell you guys. I decided I was like, I saw the junk people were talking about last episode about Kenny most likely got a shit ton of hours in Loop Hero compared to us. I was like, okay, bet. Wait until I drop it on them that I rolled credits, and not just rolled credits. Let me put the cherry on top. I also beat one of the secret bosses in the game.
Dang.
Nice.
Okay.
Completely owned the game.
Dropping bombs.
It's my bitch.
Maybe I'll play it now. We'll see.
Honestly, that last chapter in the game will be brutal.
We're not going to get there.
Yeah. The last chapter of the game literally is fighting the first 3 chapter bosses plus the final boss.
Oh, jeez.
That-
So
How many
you have
chapters are there?
it's 4 chapters. So,
Okay.
so you literally in the last chapter you start building through and quickly get the first boss, and then you keep on building past that second boss, third boss. There are some tricks to it. If you manage your cards right and synergize right the map, you might be able to skip bosses.
Okay.
So you
Super
can
Mario Bros. 3 style.
exactly like so with that bar on the top left, it gives you like the hash marks for every boss. So if the first boss starts spawning, if before you reach him, you build up the map enough so that you get to the next hash mark, you don't have to fight the first boss. You just jump straight to the second boss.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
So overall, is it? Did you check your Steam clock?
Actually, I was looking at it, so it's weird. It's crazy, right? So when you look at my statistics, right, and
Yeah,
you
they're
look
in-game
at you look at the in-game statistics, and you look at the game runtime, I was laughing because I've made the mistake sometimes of just leaving the game on overnight. So my game clock, like the game turned on running clock is like 90 hours because so
Wow.
many times I've left it on. But my expedition time is 34 hours. So there's a huge
That's
Huge
great that it
difference.
has that distinction.
50 hours distinction between both times.
So 34 hours of looping. Does it tell you how many loops that is?
It's actually it does have the loop stat, I believe. And
Yeah.
I think it
like
tells me how many people I've destroyed. I think I've killed 20,000 plus enemies between all my loops.
Wow.
My camp, I have almost every square covered by something.
Cool.
There it gets to a point where like the game gets so much easier once you unlock every building. Like
Would you recommend me, who still hasn't even beat the first boss, if I wanted to give it another shot, would you say you should be trying to build as many of those buildings as you can?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's where it takes off. Because without it, you're really just on basic, running basic. One of them, I think the Intel building, it starts giving you skills in loops. So it gives you every kill gives you it gives you experience points, and then once your experience bar, you level up. You pick out a three skill traits, in that loop. So you keep it adds another like these buildings start adding level like these different dynamics to your loops and strategies to your loops, which makes it so much easier. And
Word.
biggest thing for me it was getting the forest and the river. Once you get those, it takes it to a whole nother level for you because the forest, the river, what the river does that any adjacent tiles touching it get double its whatever its output is. So and the forest, what it does, right? If when you unlock the forest and you add it to your deck, it adds forest and it adds the thickets. The thickets give you +2. It gives you +2% attack speed for every thicket. When you and the force is +1. But so if you just use thickets next to the rivers, you are getting +4 instead of +2 every one that you put next to a river, like everyone that's touching a river. So sometimes I'm sitting there and you'll see me and I'll be like loop 5 and I'll already be at 40-60% attacks plus attack speed. For characters like the rogue, you want that. That's huge.
You unlock the first class.
It's with the buildings as well.
Oh, it is? Okay.
So I believe the cemetery, if I'm correct, the cemetery unlocks the necromancers for you. And I think it's the war camp that unlocks the rogue. Honestly, like I said, I had the feeling that the necromancer is the best character. And that I had like I was looking at tips and tricks on YouTube, right? And I came across this one necromancer build and I was like, all right, maximize speed, attack speed, and maximize max skeletons, right? Like those are the 2 attributes you want to focus on for him. All right, let me try that. So I did that, and I ran through every boss with that strategy.
Great.
It was ridiculous because what it is that the necromancer's attack speed is his summon speed. So the faster his bar reaches so he can summon a skeleton, the better. Because you never really increase a necromancer's attack. He's always going to only do 3 to 5 attack. So he only ever physically attacks when you've already made it to your max amount of allotted skeletons or whatever he summons, right?
Whoa.
So if you increase
quite a
that as
different
well,
playstyle.
yeah, if you increase that as well, I've gotten to a point where I've been able to summon 7 skeletons out there. So they're doing all the damage, all the attacking for me. There's a skill where all the damage done to your hero gets distributed equally between all you and the skeletons. It becomes wild. There's even one skill that you can unlock while leveling up that for every skeleton you get 0.25 energy HP, not even your regular HP.
Wow.
Yeah, so imagine. So if you're every single time you fight somebody, you're summoning four skeletons. That's 1 point of magic HP that you're gaining per monster. I put this build to the test the other day, and I made it all the way. Like, I've already rolled credits, so I was just messing around with this build. Let me see how far I could go with it. I made it to 40 loops before I decided that I was bored and I was gonna just return to camp.
Oh wow.
Holy shit.
Neat. Well, congrats on finishing that one up. I think based on what you're telling me, I got to give it another shot. Just based on how much I'm hearing still about it on various podcasts. I at least have barely scratched the surface. So wrapping it up this week, what I want to talk about is a game that I think is underrated. I think that it surprised me. And that question that people ask, what's that one thing that you enjoy that a lot of others thinks is bad? And I wouldn't say that they say it's necessarily bad, but Watch Dogs Legion. I got it on PS5, and 10 to 12 hours in, doesn't tell you. But I'm really enjoying it. I think that I think it's the best of the series, at least for me. I'm definitely enjoying it the most. It's an open world crime game where you can steal cars that's set in London. You're playing as the hacker group DedSec, who are trying to stop fascism,
bash the fash,
stop the police state and the super amount of surveillance by manipulating that surveillance constantly in order to change the environment, set traps, and just help you infiltrate these places. I'm playing the game as like a full-on stealth, non-lethal playthrough because I actually do feel some, like you're trying to do the righteous thing here and you're not trying to be a murderer. So if I do get caught in a moment, I'm not just gonna switch to my non-lethal. I mean, to like my AK-47. I'm gonna use my electric gun and try and do it that way. But I think that the driving, the game looks really nice on the PS5. No surprises there. I'm more engaged with the story than I thought I would be. What's surprising me about it is just how thoughtful that every sort of encounter has been so far, or maybe not every, but it's a big open world and there's lots of buildings that you can infiltrate, and the variety of different ways where you can complete your task is pretty neat. Like, do I want to go in loud, which I never do, or do I want to use a drone and go through the vent and complete my goal this way? Can I knock out enough guys where I can just run up and use the computer myself? Can I use the camera jump off thing in such a way where I can just do it from afar? So I've enjoyed the sort of Dishonored variety. Like, I wouldn't go say as far as Dishonored's options, but it's better than I think it gets credit for. And the fact that they're able to do that type of thing where you're not just racking up body counts and being the world's biggest hypocrite is something I'm really I think the only people I've killed in the game are like people that I accidentally ran over, which it happens.
Oh no.
I used to feel bad when
Line
that
of fire.
happened to restart my game, but
Yeah. So is this still the one where you can like you recruit all the different people or whatever?
yes.
Did you recruit the old lady already?
Yeah, that's what
I
That
don't have an old lady. No, I have like a middle-aged lady. I have a Russian guy.
You're playing it all wrong.
I
yeah,
have
you
a
got the old
guy,
ladies, old bag.
white guy with a mohawk,
Okay,
and
that's good.
so that's the other thing. The big thing in this game, every NPC is a potential recruit. You have to do some sort of recruitment mission for them, whether it's like um, making sure that the rich people aren't cutting in line for the kidney transplant. So you have to infiltrate the hospital and hack some uh, computer terminal, or something completely different, like beating up some guy that is hounding this other one for money, and that he doesn't know. But I think that it's super impressive, the fact that all these characters are voiced. They don't sound awkward. Like, I've only ran into a couple reused voice actors, like where they're literally the exact same, even though they're a different character. Like, I think maybe only once so far. And just the way that they sort of organically get put into your group. You can play with permadeath. I wimped out. I'm kind of wishing that I did, because I've only died like 2-3 times, and that would have added a bigger weight to my decisions. But I did not want to be 15-20 hours in, be stuck on a mission, die 10 times, and then have to start over, which you do. So yeah, think it's cool. I didn't expect it. Like, the first one bounced off real quick. Second one got maybe halfway through, got stuck. Was only renting it. This one I'm definitely gonna see through.
Is
Maybe
he
it
full
right
on
around
own this one?
Stockholm.
I
What?
know it's on sale for $20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's on sale for $20, and like I that makes me think that maybe it's not doing so well. It just implemented a multiplayer mode as well, which
Which I heard is super fun.
oh, really?
Yes.
Cool. Well, I'll
They
give
got
it.
I think they got these attack spider bots that you use in there.
Yeah, the spider bots are neat.
Mhm.
Not gonna blow your mind or anything. Like, it's not a system seller or anything, but I'm pleasantly surprised with it so far,
Bless you.
and
Thank you.
it looks and plays great on PS5. Probably does on
Nice.
Nice.
PS6 too. Like, the fact that it's loading so quick and everything. It's some of the new console smell that's making me enjoy it. But
Hell yeah.
yeah. So we're going long. We've already been talking for an hour, and we're just getting to the topic of the show. And I don't feel like maybe me and Anthony are the only big PS3 heads in here. You had a PS3, right?
Oh yeah. I love my
Okay.
PS3. I love my PlayStation consoles.
Anthony and his JRPGs.
Gotta have them. And the
So
Vita. Got my Vita.
Hmm.
yeah, and his Vita. So this news came out. Sony. It was originally just a rumor, but it got confirmed that this summer you will no longer be able to, at some, I believe, July 2nd, you will no longer be able to purchase games on the PS3, PSP, and PS Vita digital storefronts. When you heard this, Anthony? What was your reaction?
I thought it was a little bunk. Definitely pretty shitty. It was also, I watched the video today. This other really good guy I could recommend on YouTube called Modern Vintage Gamer. He was talking about this, and he brought up a good point that this actually really is a good time for emulation now. Like emulating. Apparently, there's a top of my head what it is for PS3, but for PlayStation 3 emulation, that's actually coming along really well and kind of improving day by day.
It's good
For
to hear.
that, and that really kind of like this shutting these storefronts down like this, it just kind of proves that game preservation using emulation and things like that is definitely it's going to be important for moving forward and when stuff like this happens, and as it eventually does, because from a business standpoint, you can see where Sony's coming from, and not many people have PS3s or actively buying stuff on like their Vitas or PSPs still.
Right. I think it's particularly egregious in the Vita sense, because that
Mhm.
system's not even 10 years old.
Yeah, people are still making stuff for it too, which sucks. So it's like the people who are still developing for the Vita, it's like, well, sorry, we don't have a storefront anymore, so you can't really sell your game with us.
Yeah, it's whack. And the PS3 is the console that really reinvigorated my love for gaming. I had an Xbox 360. Um, I kind of took a couple years off near the end of the aughts, but I think in 2012 I got a 500 gig PS3, and it came with the instant game collection from PlayStation Plus, which at the time was like a revelation. Like, what? I get like 8 or 10 of these great games for free.
What games did you? What games were they?
Putting me on the spot. I know
If you
that.
don't remember, it's all good. I know that.
Yeah, I
But were
don't.
they like just PlayStation 3 classics at the time, like just stand out, kind of like
Yeah, I remember one of the
Uncharted?
PS Plus games that I first really got back into was Spec Ops: The Line, which is an awesome single player third person shooter. And let's see, my PS3 is stacked with like 60 plus games, 60 plus PS3 games, 9 PS1 games, and 1 PS2 game. And thankfully, you're still able to download the ones that you've already purchased.
Yeah. So I gotta check. So
Alright,
the
let's call it a
PlayStation
show,
3
guys.
store
Let's
should
call
still
it a
be
show.
up?
Let's call it a show.
The what?
What's up?
He said, "Let's call it a show."
I can't talk with you guys on your phones. Like, I just can't do it.
It's not a topic, man, that we can provide any input in.
It just, I'm sorry. It bugs me.
All right, catch you later.
All right, bye.